You know, that's funny. It gives you ups and downs, good and bad. Though sometimes the bad can be more proportion and distributed, and people come out different because of it. Some end up wearing clown makeup for life. Some end up having their best friend cut off their only other hand and both legs, and spending the rest of their life in a mechanical suit. Remember, kids, never charge the high ground. Both General Lee and Lord Vader made that mistake. And sometimes you end up watching your dad lose his head. Thank the Force Darth Vader disarmed that master. Well, so called master. After those days, you have time to reflect on or off of some product like Death Sticks. On the moment things went wrong that sent you down the road to Schittsburg and can generally be traced to a decision, and sometimes it was the decision of others that put you there. And that leads me in today's video, which is a review of Star Wars by the Emperor's Hand, an old comic. Well, I say old. It's not really old, but it's a decently old one about Mara Jade. And I thought I would do a review of it. So here it goes. Here are the notes I have so far. Created between 1998 and 1999. Written by the prolific Timothy Zahn and Michael A. Stackpole, the former of whom considered Mara Jade to be one of his two favorite creations in the expanded universe alongside Thrawn, and the latter of whom would go on to be involved in writing Star Wars Union. Penciled and inked by Carlos Esquerra, lettered by Michael Taylor, colored by James Sinclair, cover art created by Killian Plunkett, edited by Pete James, published by Dark Horse Comics, set first in 0 BBY ABY and then in 4 ABY. And the story begins in 0 BBY before the Battle of Yavin has begun, with Mara attending a party where she ditches the festivities to tell the guards she requires a place to lie down, and she is directed to a room. Once inside, she makes like Barney Stinson and suits up, buckling on a belt for her blaster and lightsaber, ditching her dress and leaving behind a blow-up dummy in a bed to confuse any guards or nosy Natalie's to enter the room to check on her. Not completely in that order. Our female 007's objective, the hidden safe of Moff Tarkin. Quickly locating the safe, she is interrupted by the arrival of guards as she opens it. She begins to dispatch the guards with a lightsaber only to realize something quickly. They were mostly droids with one meat bag. Knocking the other human Imperial down with the hilt of her lightsaber, it was all a test, an exercise. The result is pleasing to old Scrotum Face. Flash forward to 4 ABY before Jabba is left on the barge for the Sarlacc pit, and our original Mando is unceremoniously undone by a blind, scruffy-looking nerf herder. I mean, seriously, what the hell? Anyway, Mara attempts to join in the hopes of assassinating Luke Skywalker after previously failing before to kill him in the palace, but is turned away. Much like the announcer to a team deathmatch, Palpatine is most displeased with the news of mission failure, and then is reassigned to a mission on Svevrin, requiring her to deal with Dequuk, a Judu interested in reviving the Black Sun through the use of his Black Nebula organization. Disembarking with only her DL-18 and lightsaber, she acquires the aid of a local Imperial garrison through some persuasion, without altering the deal and some influence of Darth Vader's existence. In that moment, Lord Vader came the closest thing he would ever be to an ally to Jade in their entire tour of duty in the Empire. Because, like, seriously, those two could not get along for the life of them. Anyway, returning to our heroine. With the aid of two squads, she manages to kill Dequuk, providing some insight into how Imperials, mainly Mara, view their actions in the Rebel Alliance as she leaves the planet. Similarly to how Disney tried and failed to do with what they were doing with their Disney trilogy, or with Finn, I guess, and some other stuff they had tried in the past. But I found this to be more insightful and illuminating. As a reward, the Sidious Darth rewards her with shore leave on the capital city of 1,000 plus. I'm sorry, I mean the Imperial Center. Although if you look at the two, they kind of look the same. Gotta say, really loving her at this point. It reminds me of a time at Disney World, a place that is supposed to provide, well, yeah, provide you with a plethora of distractions and only a few succeed in their purpose. I mean, yeah, this does kind of remind me. This did kind of remind me when I went to Disney World. People talk a big thing about it, how it's this grandiose thing that you can't go without your entire life. I went there when I was 15, bored out of my mind. It was so overrated. However, whereas I was able to suffer through the experience and at least had Galen Merrick bringing down the Star Destroyers on the PSP to distract me, Mara ends up breaking into a building to gain access to Black Sun files after a run-in with a member of the Black Nebula and realizes she made a mistake. She killed the wrong Geodude. See, while killing the sketchy alien, he was trying to tell her something, but it wasn't in basic, so she couldn't understand him. But in Red's defense, I can't really blame her. After all the preparation she had to make, I would have been less talkative as well. Plus, he looked as honest as a hut. A Rhodium would have fared better. Upon confirming her suspicions with the medallion she took off her kill and a test simulation or two, Mara begins preparations to rectify this mistake, only to be bombarded with visions from her master. Seeing visions of Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader both turning their lightsabers on the Emperor above Endor, ending with one final order from her master: "You will kill Luke Skywalker." Before she can do it, Mara collapses on the floor of her ship from exhaustion as a result of the visions. She remained there until a pair of Imperials captured her and was placed in a cell where she remained, persisting with the elaborate lie of being just a dancer, while Yasan Izzard contemplates what to do with her. I'll avoid further details and spoiling you, but just to say this: she escapes with what little force power she can muster and rectifies her mistake before she vanishes, going on to, well, that's the story for another day, and a trip to Wikipedia. Well, or a trip to Wikipedia. For those interested in more information on the Emperor's more famous hand, but preferring it to be in audio form, I would recommend checking out Star Wars Theory and Mandalore. And that's Manda and then Lore, like a small comma between them. But yeah, he has a good video on her, and I think it's, well, yeah, if you just want to learn more, I would go with him mainly. I don't think Star Wars Theory has much on Mara Jade. Overall, I would consider this a decent comic considering the decade it was created in. I mean, really, the 90s was an awful decade. Like, only a few couple things that were good came out of it. The Soviet Union collapsed. Lobo, I think, became a big thing. And I can't remember a whole lot. I mean, I was born in that decade, and I don't have that many good memories of it. But yeah, considering the decade it was in, I think it's okay with a story I can read without feeling like I'm being lectured. Is it great? No. And I don't mean, and when I say great, I mean, like, is it like top tier material? No, but if it was possible for others to acquire a copy of this graphic novel, I would recommend it for readers interested in any Mara Jade comics, because I'll be honest, this was kind of my introduction to Mara Jade. I read on her on Wikipedia, but this was the first thing I read that involved her in Star Wars material, and I thought it was okay. I didn't see any problems with it. And if I had to give it a rating, 3.9 out of 5 Mythosaur skulls. And yeah, that's about all I can really say, other than, well, there's one joke I forgot to tell. Luke, you Jedi bastard. I almost envy you sometimes. Then I remember the guy who plays you and what Disney did to you. Then I'm like, oh, I take back that envy. But yeah, this was just a review that I wanted to do because I'd actually done this as my first video on BitChute, only I think I did a little bit better on BitChute and when I did it that time. And believe me, that is not saying much because it sucked as much too. But I just wanted to put that on YouTube, this one on YouTube as well, to try to get more videos on this platform as much as I do on BitChute. And yeah, that's all I can really think to say other than have a nice day. And if you can get your hands on this, I do recommend it highly. Mainly if you're just wanting to find more material about the expanded universe, because now I want to. After I read this, I wanted more on the expanded universe just to see how much more there was. And I wanted to see stuff outside of Wikipedia, so yeah. So yeah, have a nice day, and remember the game was rigged from the start.